I spent 100 days in Minecraft CrazyCraft 2.0. 100 days in the most nostalgic mod pack ever. This is WePlays. Let's get into it. But before we get started, I quickly want to say one thing. We're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers, and it would mean the world to me if we could reach that. So if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button, and enjoy the video. Day 1. Liam and I got some wood and found it weird to sprint, because in the old days, you had to double tap W to sprint. Man, this really brings me back. I found a village with a blacksmith in it. And in the blacksmith, there was an iron sword and helmet, with some weird looking boots. Then I started killing a ton of criminals. Criminals have the chance to drop an iron ingot. A little bit later, I found a temple that looked like a castle. I found an iron pick in one of the chests, and then I met up with Liam and gave him a few of my items. Then we both killed a ton of criminals. We found a lucky block a little bit later and opened it. After that, we both made full iron armor and started day 2. We found a blaze spawner and both killed one. Then we tried to morph into it just so we could fly, but for some reason that didn't work. So we continued adventuring out, looking for a good place to live. On the way there, we found another village with a blacksmith in it. But there wasn't anything good in that blacksmith, so we continued looking out for the perfect place to live, and eventually found a chicken. Chickens can be very overpowered in this version of CrazyCraft because of what they drop. Chickens have the chance to drop a chicken bone, which is used to craft the chicken chest. The chicken chest is like the word suggests. It's a chest with a chicken on it. Well, it looks like a chicken. This chest can duplicate almost any item in the game. Any item that can be stacked. We needed 8 chicken bones to make it. You also needed an ender chest. The only trouble was, if you killed a chicken, there'd be a chance that a herd of chickens would come after you and kill you. Just like in Zelda. And that's exactly what happened. So we went to sleep. We continued hunting chickens for their bones and started looking for a nice place to live. So we found this. In this house there was a lot of spawners and stuff that didn't make Liam and I feel very welcome. I even tried to craft a rose sword, but that wasn't a thing in this version of CrazyCraft. Liam's screen froze up, so we decided to turn everything off and start the next day. The next day, I went out to gather lots of materials. I also changed something in my settings file. Liam and I can fly now, because we killed a blaze. I even found a girlfriend, which I lost. I went into a dungeon and found lots of materials, including a wither skeleton skull, and a visual sigil. Then Liam and I got back to the house and had enough chicken bones to make the chicken chest. Now all we needed was the ender chest. Luckily though, Liam had enough emeralds to make an emerald pickaxe, which if you didn't know, comes with the enchantment Silk Touch the moment you craft it. Liam found another dungeon that had an ender chest in it. And that was it. Now we could craft the chicken chest. But what we didn't know was that the person who places the chest is a person whose inventory it bounds to. And since I placed it, Liam couldn't use the chest. But more importantly, what is the chicken chest? The chicken chest is broken. A lot of old players that I used to watch used to ban the chicken chest because of how good it was, or it was too overpowered, or something like that. Some of them even considered it plain out cheating. If you open the chest, all you see is your inventory, as if it was pasted in a normal chest. The moment you left click on an item, the chest would add that to your inventory, basically duplicating it. So the next thing we did was make Miner's Dreams, which in short does this. I grabbed one of every ore that I needed and basically beat the game. I went back home to craft all of the overpowered items from the superhero mod. These were the days, man. Look at this! In this version of CrazyCraft, you could combine superheroes by only wearing one of their armor pieces. And I combined Hulk for speed and strength, Wolverine for regenerations, and Iron Man Hulkbuster for resistance 4. I also made Mjolnir that could make us fly and did 52 attack damage. We were basically ready to take on the king, but we didn't even know it at the time. At this point we decided to move house, we organized our inventories, and before we knew it, it was day 10. Whoa, that went fast. We first wanted to make a house on top of a mountain, So we started building a small house there, but after a lot of complications we decided to make an underground base, which ended up taking all day trying to find the best place to live. We started mining the base out on day 12, and this is how it looked so far. After that, I was looking for an item that would reduce any kind of knockback, which is crucial against the king. But unfortunately, there wasn't an item like that in the game. So I quit looking for that item and started exploring and found an attack squid. I killed it, hoping to spawn the kraken, and it did. Actually, it spawned 2 of them. Yeah.
Wait, what? Need help? They're gone.
I cheated. Sort of. What would you have done? Tell me in the comments. It's not like I went into game mode or anything like that. Anyway, I got the Kraken's tooth, and next I made a ton of duct tape to fix all of my armor. I went to the miner's dimension to find a dried Easter bunny spawn egg, but after looking for about 10 minutes, I realized that in this update of CrazyCraft, the dried spawn eggs wasn't in this dimension. They were actually in the overworld. So I went and grabbed lots of miner's dreamers and started looking for Easter bunnies and for red diamonds to make Superman armor. But as I was looking for the red diamonds, Liam luckily pointed out that the red diamonds wasn't even a thing in CrazyCraft 2.0.
Red diamond isn't even a thing.
And at the end of the day, I went into the nether to grab some soul sand and spawned the wither into the world. I one-shot the wither and duped the nether star. Then crafted full Superman armor. At the end of the day, I found a Mothra and killed it.
While Jules was looking for Easter bunnies, I was making our base bigger. I wanted some kind of cave, a bit like the Batcave, but then filled with armor stands, displaying all of our armors and superhero suits. So I started to dig down. About 2 days later, I found Jules's Miner's Dreamer's mine exactly where I wanted to make the cave. So I just gave up. Since I've already made a big mess, I wanted to make it even bigger. That's why I decided to make a quarry.
Today, I AFK'd while Liam was still making the quarry.
On day 20, I finished the quarry. I thought it would mine out a whole chunk. But I was wrong. It just kind of stayed the same. But it did mine a lot of stuff, like diamonds, emeralds. But it didn't really come out how I hoped.
I found them!
Yes! The Easter bunnies are mine!
On day 22, I helped Liam to improve the base. However, I changed a few things in the settings file that made it, if you sneaked, you'd vein mine everything. The problem is that Liam wasn't completely used to it, and vein mined our whole house on accident. So we decided again to relocate and started on a small frame for the house. So I grabbed all the building blocks and started building the house. And on day 24, the house started to look like this. Still building the house. Today we just about finished the first part of the house. On day 27, I expanded the base by digging an underground hole, because I wanted to make an Easter bunny room. And by day 29, I completed it, and started to kill more bosses to get even closer to craft Big Bertha. Liam was expanding the base, so on day 30 I killed a lot of bosses to make Big Bertha. I duped a bunch of these things, and without us even knowing, we were ready to take the king on, as we entered the end game.
I made a stack of octuple compressed cobblestone, which, if you didn't watch some of these old videos, is 43,046,721 cobblestone compressed into one block. Look how black it is! It's so dark.
I also made an unstable axe, so we never had to eat ever again. Day 33 I AFK'd, looking at our glorious base. The next day I found a Hercules beetle in my house. Then we decided to expand our house by making these cool looking pillars.
I made one room completely out of octuple compressed cobblestone. On my old laptop, I could swear this block looked black, but like dark black, like you couldn't see a single thing. But on a new computer and a new monitor, it looks so clear.
Today Liam and I decided that we wanted 4 pillars to connect to our base. So we started building the first part of it. The next day, Liam wanted to build the pillars a little bit more inwards, if that makes any sense. Then I discovered that the pillars was a little bit misformed, which wasn't a problem. and by day 38 we had finished the first pillar. We still needed to do 3 more though. And that's exactly what I did the next day. Because with the builders one, it was very easy to copy something I've already done. And by day 40 we had finished that task, almost completing the base. Today Liam and I started to build the superhero room. We were going to display every superhero that was in this mod pack. So we started to mine a room out, and by day 42 we'd finished the interior design for that room. The next day we made the main chest room and organised all of the items we had collected so far in this series. And by day 44 we were still organising all of those items. Today we finished the chest room and started preparing for all of the bosses. The third strongest boss in this game, Mobzilla. So I started looking for Ender Dragon spawn eggs, because in this update of CrazyCraft you can gain hearts by collecting a lot of XP. So today we went into the end, and all Liam and I did that day was kill a ton of Ender Dragons. And at the end of those 2 days I was level 467. We had repaired our armor after the long battles we had against the Ender Dragons. Then we killed a hammerhead. It turns out that hammerheads drop an XP tree sapling, so I placed it outside of our house and logged off. The next day Liam made a portal to the end in our house. I remember that I killed this weird looking enderman thing and it dropped an end portal frame, but I don't know if I was filming when it happened. Then we prepared ourselves for the fight against Mobzilla by crafting a ton of dupes. By day 50 we were ready, so we travelled far and wide. And about 5 minutes later I found a good spot to fight him. So I spawned him in and the battle started. 5 minutes of doing this and we won. Now we could make Mobzilla scale armor. So we headed back home and killed a ton of hammerheads.
Jules didn't even explain who he is. This is Mobzilla, a monster so strong it puts the Wither's name to shame. For Jules it may be nothing more than just a common housefly, but for me, it used to give me chills down my spine. The second he spawned in, he makes a huge crater and starts spitting out fireballs. When he touches you, you fly like 50 blocks back. And when Joel said he was doing this for 5 minutes straight, compare that to this. That's why we had to travel so many blocks away, so he wouldn't destroy our base with like 1 step. And that's just the tip of the iceberg about Mobzilla.
On day 51 and 52, my OBS wasn't filming anything. I only realised at the end of that filming session. You didn't miss much, because all we did was make a forest made out of the XP trees. Today we started to extend the superhero room.
I was bored, so I decided to compress more blocks. I compressed dirt, sand and gravel, but they didn't compress much. I'm sad.
We added armor stands and crafted all of the armor pieces in that room. But we had a little problem. To craft Ant-Man's helmet, we needed ant antennas. And after looking online, you only could obtain them by killing ants. And that's what I did. But for some reason the ants wouldn't drop them, so we left Ant-Man's head for now. Today I opened a lucky block and killed 2 krakens.
On day 58, I made Flash's suit. I thought it was a perfect idea to have a race with Jules.
Oh. Yeah, I think you won.
Totally lost the race because I couldn't fly fast. But yes, the Flash is the fastest on feet.
I made Batgirl, Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow, and basically all the villains. We ran out of room, so we extended the superhero / villain room, and by day 60, we finished the armor room. So we entered the unstable ant dimension and started looking for a tier 6 dungeon. And about 20 minutes later I found one. But Liam found something else. Something that wasn't that good. Liam found a place where the robbers spawn and got all of his stuff stolen. So I gave Liam some of my extra armor pieces and weapons, and then we went into the dungeon. We tried to cheese our way to the OP loot, but that didn't work, so we entered the normal way. The first part was a nightmare. Luckily the next layer was easy. Actually, everything was easy after that one layer. By no time we had the Royal Guardian armor set and a Royal Guardian sword. We just needed to find one more set. And about 10 minutes later I found another one. A Queen dungeon! Yo! This time Liam vein mined everything away. That made it 100 times easier. And like that, we breezed through it. And I had a set of the Royal Guardian and Queen Scale armor, basically ready to take the king on. So we went back home and started to prepare for the ultimate battle against the king, by going into the end to collect as much XP as we could. Today, we added an extra room for the armor room to display our all-spawn armor sets. We made it look fairly similar to the superhero room, and then we grabbed and crafted all of the all-spawn armor sets and displayed them. We only needed a few more armor sets. One of them was the lava eel armor set, and I thought the only way you could get this was in the nether. So after a whole day of looking into the nether, Liam googled it and found out that you needed to fish in a lava pool with an ultimate fishing rod to obtain it. We finished the armor room! Today I made a ton of extra armor sets, because I was going to go on an adventure to collect more Royal Guardian / Queen Scale armor pieces to prepare against the king. And man, there's a reason why I'm the best CrazyCraft player in the world. Show them the speedrunning dungeon clip. That day I completed 2 6-tier dungeons. I continued speedrunning the dungeons. I completed 4 dungeons. By now I had enough of the dungeons, and we decided to kill even more ender dragons, just to be extra prepared against the king. Still killing ender dragons for XP. I'm over level 600. The world almost became unplayable because of the lag, so I found a command that got rid of it. Later that day I found out that heart canisters that the ender dragon dropped could be right clicked, and if you right click them you'd gain 1 heart. Shame I didn't know this earlier. The amount of heart canisters I wasted. Now this is all that Liam and I was doing when we found that out. Look how many hearts I have! Today Liam came to me and said to me that we were going to fight the king on day 75. So we went back home and got ready. Liam and I split up to find the perfect spot to fight him.
For the people who don't know who the king is, it's royalty. If you thought that the Ender Dragon was a strong dragon, wait until you see the almighty king. Just the king's neck is the size of the entire Ender Dragon. We're just like specks of dust next to the king. He has 3 heads with razor sharp teeth, 3 sets of crazy eyes looking at you menacingly. Just like the ultimate dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! No, seriously, just fuse 3 Ender Dragons and then BAM! Here's the king. If it wasn't for our superhero armor, we would have been squashed like a bug. Even if we used ultimate armor, I don't even think we'd be able to beat him. Which could mean that we would have an insanely strong dragon roaming our world and destroying everything in its path, including us.
Then we spawned him in. If you've watched my other 100 days in CrazyCraft, you probably would expect that I would have killed him in only a few seconds. That was because I used a weapon that isn't in this version of CrazyCraft. I don't even think that mod existed back then when this was made. Anyway, the battle took a lot longer, but with the 2 of us, it went fairly quickly. So we collected every good item that the king dropped and went back home, healed our armor, and made a duct tape room. Then we decided we needed 1 more room to complete the entire house, since we had 1 empty room left. So we entered the brown end dimension and started looking for the duplication tree. This would be the duplication tree room to complete the entire house. Liam and I searched far and wide until I found something. I found this. It's the queen tree! Ah! Why is this so scary compared to when you spawn her in with an egg? I don't understand, but what? And the battle began.
The queen must be at least at bare minimum twice as strong as the king. When she's angry, that is. The queen is usually peaceful. Her skin is light blue and has a white stomach. If you leave her alone, she wouldn't hurt a fly. But once you've pissed her off, she becomes very hostile. Her skin will turn black, and her stomach and eyes will turn red from rage. She will be able to spawn particles that will follow you everywhere. And every hit from one of those particles, and her by the way, will do half of our entire health. And we have 50 rows of hearts, even with the strongest armor in the game. The thing that made this boss even harder was the hitboxes. Under normal circumstances, we could hit any monster anywhere and deal damage. But with the queen, we could only hit her at her head, her chest, and her feet. If we hit her anywhere else, it wouldn't deal any damage. There are 3 bosses that have this. The third strongest in the game, Mobzilla, the King, and of course, the Queen.
No, bro. The king and queen have 2 hitboxes. That's why we always had to sneak under their heads to deal damage. The queen is so strong. At the end, we did it. We won. All we needed now was a duplication tree. And a little bit later, Liam found one. So we went back home, and it was day 80. And everything that we wanted to achieve was done. There was only one more thing I wanted to try. And that was to spawn the minions in and to play around with that mod. Because this mod was a good part of my childhood. Then the world crashed, and we decided that was the perfect way to end a good story.
And remember, kids,
Dig a mine shaft.
don't ask minions to dig mine shafts. They just break the world.
Oh,
Oh,
I crashed.